Jane Doe has arrived
Nolly milestone.
and generally could be considered one of the best
Okay, but where's Nolly?
one of the best survivors in the game.
I don't care. Where's Nolly?
Can you duck down a second? There we go. And I've been able to play Jane for about a week and a bit now, testing her out, seeing what she can do, and I generally do believe that she is the best survivor in the game. And she's shockingly balanced, but I don't know if stacking will be a problem with her, as I couldn't really test that. But I want to preface that I'm recording this 3 days before she releases, so anything can change. So it's March 17th. With the John Doe buffs, a lot changed. But I'll speak about all the changes at the end of the video. And I also didn't have access to any skins, or milestones, or any special LMS, so I won't be talking about those. And if you go on to like this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing and hitting that notification bell. As soon after this post, I'm going straight for max level, baby. Jane Doe is classed as a sentinel with a tiny little bit of support in there. Let me explain. First, we have to talk about her passives. They're very important, and one of them's kind of useless. Jane is able to see the killer's footsteps, highlighting red when they are close, and I don't really get why this is a thing. Now, Jane's other passive is insane. She spawns with 20 Shatterpoint HP, which gives her a 40% damage reduction, allowing you to take more hits and tank a lot of the traps set by the killers. The trade-off, however, is it can't be healed by things like a medkit or Elliot. The only way that she's able to regain this is by landing her abilities, which we'll get onto in a second. And if she loses all of her Shatterpoint HP, she cannot restore it for a whole 40 seconds. I found so many interesting ways that Shatterpoint can be used in a supportive role, like walking into Digital Footprint and not losing nearly as much health. Of course, you can tank extra damage, and where I think it's balanced fairly is that you only have 60 base HP. You're stuck for 40 seconds unable to regain that, meaning that you're low HP and possibly the next target. Now, for her abilities, they remind me so much of Nobora from JJK. Both these abilities work in tandem. One cannot live without the other. Her first move, Crystal Pitch, is a projectile move that you need to hit. Otherwise, the other move doesn't work. You can throw it slowly or charge it up for a faster shot, and if it hits the killer, they're hit with the new effect Resonance. Think of Nobora's Nails and Cursed Energy. Now hold that thought. This also grants her 5 Shatterpoint HP if hit. And depending on the distance at which you hit the killer, you can actually give them 2 stacks of Resonance. If you hit Resonance once, it lasts for around 40 seconds. But if you keep hitting Resonance, it will keep upping its stat by 1, maxing out at Resonance 3. But if the killer is stun immune or already stunned, you can't hit this at all. Now, the interesting part is that you don't only have to hit the killer, you can actually hit other survivors. They'll be granted Purified 1 for about 3 seconds, gaining Jane 3 Shatterpoint HP, but also allowing that survivor to tank 1 extra shot. Think of Dusakar's Bubble. It's kind of the same. Her other move, Hatchet, is the Juliet to the Romeo. Now, on its own with no resonance, it applies Helpless 1 and Slowness 2 for about 2 seconds, lunging you forward to hit the killer, and restores 5 Shatterpoint HP. But notice how it doesn't stun. You still holding on to that thought? Okay, now think of Jane's axe like Nobora's hammer. With each tier of resonance given to the killer every time they're hit with the crystal, they'll be stunned for a longer period of time depending on how high their resonance is. Not only that, with each tier, Jane gains back more Shatterpoint. For Resonance 1, the killer will be stunned for 2.5 seconds, and Jane gains 10 Shatterpoint HP. Resonance 2, 3.5 seconds stun, with 20 Shatterpoint HP. Resonance 3, the killer will be stunned for 4.5 seconds, and Jane Doe gains back the full amount of health of Shatterpoint, that being 30. You see what I mean now by she has the playstyle of Nobora? In order for her Hatchet to do basically anything, you need to hit the crystal, and the reasons you need to hit both the crystal and the hammer. Why did I say hammer? It's axe. Is to gain resonance, which you will probably lose a lot. Damage reduction doesn't necessarily mean that you won't lose health. It just means you won't lose as much. So the gameplay of running around, throwing gems at survivors that could be about to get hit, or hitting the killer each time to build a resonance to eventually build up to a stun, is so fun. It almost feels like a little mini game of break the targets. Resonance also has this really pretty effect. I really like this. And by all means, this moveset isn't anything crazy. And if it is a reference to JJK, it wouldn't be their first. Guest kind of has the same moveset as a character called Warwick from League of Legends. While not the same, it's pretty close. But I don't mind that. Jane's gameplay has generally brought some fresh air to the game, allowing a sentinel whose main role is to stun and distract the killer also be supportive in a small way. Is such a nice breath of fresh air. Now I won't feel as guilty for playing guest and missing parries, because goddamn, I suck at this game. Now I can't speak for multiple Janes in a game, But I do think, shockingly, she's balanced. And Forsaken does not have a good history of releasing balanced characters. Looking at you, Nosferatu. Looking at you. I still don't like you. The only thing I may say is a bit ridiculous is the amount of shatter point you can get back with the axe and resonance. But you have to keep in mind that Jane's base health is 60. Once she loses shatter point, she can't get that back for another 40 seconds. Meaning that she's probably gonna be juggling keeping shatter point and trying to prevent it from going under by hitting survivors, or majority of the time, I'm assuming, hitting the killer with resonance, stacking up to 3, and then stunning for max. But she can quite easily be countered. If you're used to the timing of a guest parry, Jane should be no issue to you. The wind up on her hatchet is quite long, and if she goes to swing at you, know that she will lunge forward. So as the killer, just step back, and you'll be able to punish her. You should treat a Jane like you would a Shidletsky. Know that at any time, they can hit you. And if you hit a Jane and hear this specific sound, that means there's no Shatterpoint HP left. You have the option to target her now, or, well, you probably should. You have about 40 seconds to get her gone from the game. And if you don't, say GG, the game's lost. You had your opening, 40 seconds to be exact, probably longer, and you just let it fly away. Bye-bye, Jane. Another thing is, to get the benefit of a Jane gem, they're probably going to charge it. So if you hear it or see it, just either strafe left to right or hide behind a wall. But don't hug the wall, as once the gem lands on a wall, it's like an AoE effect. Anything within that range will count. Speaking of the gem, if a Jane gem hits a survivor that you know is super low, wait about 3 to 4 seconds before you do the final blow, as they're going to tank that hit. If you want to confirm the kill, just wait 3 seconds. There's probably so many other ways to counter Jane that I don't know about yet, but those were the ones that I figured out. AKA, people did that to me and, well, I got outplayed. There's also some other small interesting things that could definitely change in the future, but just some things I found in testing. I don't know if she's supposed to be able to do some of this, or if they're just bugs, so just keep that in mind. With Shatterpoint, being hit does not kick you off the generator. At least that's what happened to me with the Noli projectile. This could be an effect of Shatterpoint, but I don't really know. Of course, the further you lob the gem across the map, the more resonance will be hit on the killer. It can, however, hit Noli clones, and with the recharge of the gem, it might just be worth hitting the Noli clone, as the cooldown really isn't long enough to punish you for wasting it. I tried this with Cool Kids minions, but they're not affected at all. It seems to be a Noli clone exclusive thing. Even though they didn't add the milestones or anything related to Jane, John Doe actually can't see her face. Instead, if you're playing as John Doe, you only see a black box over their face. It's quite a sad but interesting touch. Wow, that guy yapped for a long time. Anyways, this is current day Speedz. This is today. This is a couple hours for the update, actually. A lot changed, so let's talk about it. Jane's splash shot is completely different now. Now, instead of a blue gem, she has a Fortnite Rift to go. She got updated sound effects, so they're no longer the Fortnite ones. I'm gonna miss that. The passive footsteps kind of now change colors slightly from red to a more kind of like fiery colors. Now, playing a bit more, I can now confirm that John Doe is 100% her counter, because his spikes can shred all of her shatter point. And that, I'm not even talking about like the giga buffs that happened today. I found a new tech with her that if you hug the walls, you don't really lunge with the axe. So besides that, when it comes to stats, literally anything's gonna change. Like everything I probably said in this video means nothing now. But it was a very fun time. I really did enjoy my time playing Jane. And now you guys can all play her as well. So now she's no longer niche media. She's gonna be let out to the masses. And I think we're about to witness instant nerfs for stacking, because I think we're about to witness something great. If you did like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, as I'm gonna be making that max level Jane video at some point. And you'll also be notified when I go live. I've been streaming a lot recently, and it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Much love, and as always, here's a funny.
Minor fart detected from northwest. Major fart detected from northeast. I repeat, major fart detected from northeast.